Good day, Las Vegas, and welcome back to Vegas Vibes, giving you a peek at what's grooving and brewing in the music, pageantry, live production, and fascinating scenes in the city that never sleeps. And I'm your host, Esmeralda Padilla. I would like to thank the avid viewers of Vegas Vibes on Vegas Live TV, ACTV, WCE TV, and VidgeNetworks.tv, especially those watching on my favorite devices, Roku, Kodi, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung, and LG Smart TVs, the recently added Pizzazz.tv, and of course, in my very own website, VegasVibes.us. Please continue to support my show as well as my Vegas Vibes network by telling your friends to like Vegas Vibes on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. I also would like to thank the millions of visitors who came to Vegas this month as we continue to celebrate the Vegas Vibes moment that Las Vegas is fully open. This means the music, pageantry, and live production scenes in the entertainment capital of the world continues to employ long-sideline artists, performers, and highly skilled workers to welcome locals and visitors to its world-class entertainment and production stages. We hope to see familiar faces when we watch mega concerts and major sports events live and in person. When Vegas Vibes returns, I will be introducing a gentle and neat-looking martial arts coach originally from Detroit, Michigan. His name is Calvin Gribble, popularly known as Coach Cal. Let's check him out, so don't go away. Welcome back. Las Vegas remains to host the best and the biggest resorts in the globe, and some of the best entertainers in the world live right here in this great city. It's bursting into scenes with creative juices, and those mega live productions can forever be part of the show. So start planning your trips to Vegas. And when you see a particular show or live event announced, book it without delay as tickets will come and go super fast. You snooze, you lose, so be on the lookout always. In a few moments, I will be joined by Coach Cal, a sport karate and kickboxing world champion. His robot training center based in Las Vegas is known to raise champions. My interview of Calvin Gribble coming up next, so please stand remote until Vegas Vibes returns. Welcome back to Vegas Vibes. On Vegas Vibes, we feature amazingly talented people from many walks of life who contribute to making our world a better place by getting involved with their communities and the many other incredible things that they do. And on that note, here with us today is a world champion in sports karate and kickboxing who has fallen in love with its art and wanted to spread its life-changing impact to others by his missionary-like drive to teach. He is a world champion with the gift of sharing his knowledge and technique with his students. I'm very proud to have on Vegas Vibes, Mr. Calvin Gribble. Hello.
Hello, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Our pleasure to have you. Well, please tell us a little bit something about yourself and that eventually led you to your love for martial arts.
I was born in Detroit, Michigan. Detroit is a rough city. And I was fortunate to have a karate instructor that wanted to take guys off of the street. And so we only trained one day a week, and that was on a Saturday. And he would come get us every Saturday. And the funny thing about that, at that time it was like $10 a month to go to karate. So we were able to talk our parents into paying for the first month. So when it came time to go, the second month, we all looked at each other. None of us had any money. And so we went anyway. So, we were 12 years old at that time. And the next thing I knew, we were 18 years old. And he never asked us for any tuition ever again. As a matter of fact, my instructor used to come and pick us up and bring us. We used to walk like 5 miles to get to the karate. The good thing about that is that usually on Friday nights, when all of our peers were getting into trouble, trying to figure out things to do for Friday night and then Saturday and Saturday night. We were going to sleep. We wanted to go to sleep because we knew that Saturday was going to be a long, rough day. I think we started training at 10, and sometimes we would get done at 6 p.m.
Oh, wow.
And it was, we didn't realize how long the time was, but we were learning, and it was so much fun. And our instructor spent so much time with us. And keep in mind, we only went one day a week. So when we weren't there on Saturday, on our own, we were practicing everything he told us to do.
Well, sounds like he was a very dedicated man.
He is, and he is still in my life today. Now, here we are, 60. I just celebrated my 50th year anniversary in martial arts. So here we are 50 years later, and I still communicate and talk to my instructor.
50 plus 12 plus 8. No.
That's right. I'm 62 years old.
Wow.
Oh, man.
That's amazing. Well, what eventually led you to having your own
school? I was blessed in a sense where my instructor, like I said, spent a lot of time with me. When I was 16 years old, I was teaching I was a student at the Detroit Police Department, and Lieutenant Ken Johnson was my instructor.
Were you a policeman?
No, I wasn't, but my father was in Detroit. So Ken, the instructor, he was unable to teach. So he said, I need you to teach the class till I get back. And so that lasted for a year. So I ended up teaching the Detroit Police Department at the age of 16. I also got my black belt soon afterwards. So I got my black belt when I was 16 years old. When I got my black belt, I competed. My instructor, who I told you about earlier, he used to take us all over the United States. So we used to fight every weekend. So we didn't have time to run the streets. Another thing, he made sure that our grades were good, because if our grades weren't up to par, we couldn't travel. We stayed home, or he would take us, but we would have to spectate. Yes. And that made us mad. You know, I've driven all the way here and I can't compete because I got a seat, and he didn't accept nothing less than a seat. Okay, so that was instilled in us early to be the best. And see, it kind of coincides with martial arts. Martial arts develops self-discipline, self-confidence, self-determination, and that we apply to everything we do in life. Even when I apply for a job, I want to be the best. Something we were taught is no matter if you were a shoe shine boy or you were the president of a corporation, you give it your best. You give whatever you do 100%. And see, martial arts is the same way. Because if you want to be the best at no matter what level, because we do have belt levels. You'll start with a white belt, yellow belt, orange belt, green belt, red belt, and then you get your black belt in my style. And so each belt has a certain requirement. Now, to get to the next belt, you want to be the best that you are where you currently are. Okay, and so that we carry into, like I said, everything we do in life.
What do you think is the most important thing about knowing how to do karate or martial arts?
Well, a lot of people think it's self-defense, but it's not, because you have guys that don't have that self-discipline, that self-confidence, and they'll learn martial arts and become bullies. Okay, and so that, that's the wrong way of entering. That's the wrong reason to enter any type of martial arts. I don't care if it's boxing, jiu-jitsu, or karate. Most parents, when they put their children in martial arts, it's for the self-discipline. Okay, because self-discipline is, to me, the most important thing in the world. Because self-discipline teaches you to be a leader. We have the saying that out of every 10,000 people, there's only one leader, and everyone else are followers. And I put a question to the test to a lot of children that I've trained, and it's up in the thousands of students that I have. If you say to yourself at a young age, I'm not going to never smoke cigarettes, I'm not going to drink, I'm not going to do any of that stuff, and then you find yourself as a teenager and you're hanging with a crowd and someone pulls out a cigarette and You spent years saying you would never do it, but now you find yourself
being influenced.
Smoking. Well, you're not a leader. You're a follower. You just let someone lead you in the wrong direction. And see, what I like about the martial arts is that not only through the belts, but through the competition, we're taught to win. We want to win. There's a first, second, third place. If there's 100 people in your division, they only give out awards to the first, second, and third. Everyone else is like, well, you know. So you always want to train and enter the competition. And when you make the top 3, you feel good. But when you become number 1, you feel awesome. Okay, and that is to me, is a major step in being a leader. You know, because to get to the point where you're achieving first place, you put a lot of time in. You know, you put a lot of effort, and that takes a lot of discipline. And the first person you want to learn how to lead is yourself. You know, if you can lead yourself in a right direction, then people follow you. And that's what I think that I do. I personally, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't get high. The temptation has always been there because of peer pressure, but then that's when that discipline kicks in, that leadership comes in, and then you can always hear the threats of your instructor saying, if I ever catch you, you know, or then you can hear the other side of your instructor telling you to be the best that you can be, and then you don't end up doing that stuff. And then I've lost so many people, coming from a city like Detroit, I've lost so many people to gang violence, drugs, this crazy lifestyle, you know. But then I feel like I'm a better influence to people when they watch how I walk. They watch my walk, you know.
You lead by example.
I lead by example. And my ingredients to what makes me is my Christianity. I firmly believe in God, you know. I always tell people, so many people make a mistake of trying to control every aspect of life, you know. And then people cry about faith, but when something goes wrong, they panic, you know. And I sometimes will look at them and say, man, you believed in faith. You were always yelled about having faith and all that. What are you panicking for? What are you worried about? I believe that if you, for example, let's say you're driving a car and you're sitting in the passenger. You have a passenger seat, but you put God in the passenger seat and you're driving, right? And then God says to you, well, you look tired, let me drive. You say, I got this, you know? And so you're driving and you're trying to take control, you know? Next thing you know, you fall asleep at the wheel, you run into something. See, life is like that. I believe that when God asks you to let him drive and put you in the passenger seat, you need to learn to sit in that seat, relax, and have faith in the direction that God is going to take you. You know, if you think like that, then life is so much easier, so much less stressful, you know, and you set an example for so many people around you, Christian or not Christian. Like I said, they just look at how you carry yourself.
Have you always had this strong faith in God? When did you get to know God?
Yes, I've had a rough childhood. I was raised by a very abusive mother. My father walked out on me when I was 2 years old. Thank God, when I got 50, we developed a relationship again, but that whole time, he was not there. So I was the oldest. At that time, my mother had 5 kids. She had 6 when my baby sister passed. And that was real traumatic. I was 14 when that happened. But I think that it takes trauma to appreciate greatness, good times. I think when you go through experience hard times, you have more appreciation of God. One, that he took you through it, and 2, that you came through it with your sanity. You know, so I believe that in other words, to sum it up, I believe that the hard times I've gone through makes me appreciate great times. And I always have to give faith to who made it all happen.
Wow, sounds like you have been through a lot in your life. But what challenges have you? What was the most difficult challenge that you have encountered in your life?
I would
How were you
say,
able to overcome that challenge?
I would say being the oldest brother, the oldest son, the oldest child, with 5 siblings. It's you have to take the role, and not having a man there, you have to take the role of a father. So I had to grow up fast. As my mother, she had a vice. My mother had, she was an alcoholic. She drank a lot. She was, to me, she was a victim of her upbringing, you know. And so many times I found myself having to step into the role to provide. I started working when I was young. I used to rake grass, cut grass, rake leaves, shovel snow. And at times I was a provider of my family. And keep in mind, I'm only like 10, 11 years old. So I would go make money so we could feed everyone else. My stepfather, I love him to death. He's passed now, but he was a very violent man. I had to witness him beat up my mother. But when I was 10 years old, they separated. Okay, so from 10 years old and up, that is when I kind of had to step into the role of a man, you know, and make sure that my other brothers and sisters were taken care of, and it just stayed with me. I would say growing up and me now having children, I make sure my children don't go through some of the same experiences I did. But if I had to sum up everything as far as the hardest part of my life, would probably be that trying to be a man at the age of 10 with my siblings.
So you were determined to succeed in your life and not follow your parents' footsteps.
Right. There's one good thing that came out of that, though. My mother, when I was 10 years old, she felt that I should be able to stand up or take care of my brothers and sisters. So she put me in boxing. So I started boxing when I was 10. And I can remember my first competition was my best friend's older brother. And I can remember that was my very first fight in competition. And I beat him. And then, like I said, 2 years later, I got into karate. That's when we moved to Detroit. As a matter of fact, when I was 10, we were living in Georgia. Soon after I turned 10, we moved to Detroit. A whole different lifestyle. Can you imagine living in the country and you have one set of rules in the country, and then moving to a urban city, a ghetto, I want to say, because we were forced to live in a very, very low-income area in Detroit, and so that itself was traumatizing. You know, you can wake up one day and down south, your brothers and sisters are playing in the yard, and you're fine. You move to Detroit, you wake up and you're out there, someone's trying to beat up your brother and sister. You know, it's just a way, or trying to take something from them that they had. And so when you're 10 years old and you got to step into that role, I can remember walking to school and seeing a fight. 10 years old, a little girl pulled a knife out and started stabbing the guy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was 10 years old and I watched that. She was 10 also. So it was a very traumatic change of lifestyle that I had to get used to and adapt to.
Yeah, that was a life-changing experience,
Right.
witnessing something traumatic.
I know.
I
And
hope the boy was okay.
believe it or not, I don't remember. I was just so shocked to see that.
You just blocked it.
Yeah, and what's so crazy about it is that everyone around it pretended
Like
it was like the norm to them.
Oh my gosh.
They were used to that. And I was in shock. It's like, oh, from the country to the city, and you go through that, you know. But when you move fast forward a little bit, and I would say in 1972, Bruce Lee came out, and they had all these karate movies at the time.
Wasn't he like the greatest martial artist?
Bruce Lee was awesome. To this day, I still think Bruce Lee was one of the greatest martial artists. As you get older, you just watch the movies, but as you get older, you learn to delve into his life and his lifestyle, and you see how dedicated he was to his art. And I learned that at a young age, and I loved his discipline. And my instructor himself was, everyone is a disciple of Bruce Lee, I think, because when Bruce Lee came out, he kind of changed the world. And instead of people gang fighting, it got to the point where every neighborhood had a karate club, and we had garages in Detroit. So I lived on Rose Line, there's Green Line, there's Cherry Line. So one weekend, Rose Line was going to challenge Cherry Line. And so we would meet in a garage, and we would actually do organized fighting, karate, And that went on with every block in Detroit. And Detroit ended up getting so popular in karate that there was karate schools almost on every corner there. So it got big. And so that was part of the Bruce Lee fame.
So growing up, what was your ultimate goal in life? Were you able to achieve that goal or dream of yours? My
ultimate goal was to become a black belt, drive a Corvette, and go to law school. Okay, I got 2 out of 3. I ended up getting my black belt, and I bought me a Corvette when I got older. So yeah, I did accomplish what I wanted to.
If there's anything that you would like to tell to anyone aspiring to become a better Christian or good in martial arts?
Okay. Both. Whether martial arts or being a Christian, commit to yourself. Okay. I always say you should have, in a church or in martial arts, you have people all around you. Some good, some bad, some in between. And I always feel like for a Christian, have tunnel vision between you and God. Okay, because just because someone says they're a Christian, they may lead you in the wrong direction or whatever. Just because someone thinks they're a great martial artist, they may not be. But if you have a tunnel vision to the source and let that guide you, you'll make the right decisions in everything that you do. I had God. For my Christianity, I had my karate instructor. For my martial arts.
Please invite everyone. Where can people find you and your school?
I am now coaching at Ruco's International Training Center. Oh, okay. I am now head coach of karate and boxing at the International Training Center, sponsored by Ruco. I also have a website, bodiesbycal.com. Check it out. You can contact me by telephone at 702-502-8025. Text me, which would be better. If you got any questions regarding my experience or what I do, feel free to text me.
Thank you so much, Mr. Calvin Gribbles. I really admire that you have turned your pain into something great that would help so many kids in our society. And may you continue to empower everyone across in this town, Las Vegas, and across the world.
All right, thank you.
I wish you all the best and God bless.
God bless you.
Catch me again next week as I feature another amazing personality here on Vegas. We hope you enjoy watching this Vegas Vibes episode as much as I did.
Promise to join me again next week on the same fabulous Vegas Vibe channel. And to all the global viewers out there, let me remind you that Las Vegas is not just about the world-renowned strip or the famous Fremont Street experience in the vibrant downtown district. It has real people, a lot of them musicians, live entertainers, and those involved in the world of pageantry. And to the people here in the Valley who work hard each day to make Las Vegas a good event. I would like to feature you and your cool story right here on Vegas Vibes, either in the studios or online via Zoom. If you believe that's you, please email me now at vegasvibes1@gmail.com. Before I go, I would like to thank my wardrobe sponsor, Anne Fontaine, located at the Forum Shops of Caesars Palace. Anne Fontaine is now open for business as well. You may call Ms. Anna Billings at 702-733-6205 to make an appointment. And now for my favorite segment, the Vegas Vibes Box. Yes, it features an intricate selection of health and beauty products which I personally use. And this week, I have for you Paradise Fallen Palette by Ace Beauty. The Paradise Fallen Palette is part of Paradise Collection. It features 12 colors that can be used to create bold, sultry looks. Each color has been carefully milled and pressed to provide the easiest, smoothest application and the most excellent color treatment. I must say that this is definitely a dream palette for those who love purple shade. Paradise Fallen Palette is highly pigmented that blends like a dew, with zero fallout, and the brightness of the colors is just amazing. Check it out, ladies! Below is the link if you wish to learn more about it or purchase it without delay. Search for Vegas Vibes Closet. Follow Vegas Vibes on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram, or check out vegasvibes.us for updates and announcements. Once again, I'm your host, Esmeralda Padilla Gold. Thank you for watching. Mwah!